Hello everybody, my name is Brad Winter. I'm City Councilor for District 4 and I will be the Master of Ceremonies tonight, and we just want to welcome everybody to this joyous occasion. This is the official swearing-in ceremony for the Mayor and Albuquerque City Councilors. Would everybody please stand for the presentation of colors by the Albuquerque High School Army JROTC Color Guard. The national anthem will be sung by Cadet Sergeant Paul Lovato.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts rewashed were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you everybody. Please remain standing. We will bring our dignitaries and our elected officials up, and then we will have Jacob Berry, Mayor Berry's son, say the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Reverend Jacob Berry. The mayor's son will lead us in the pledge.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Harry, colors, height, haste, forward, put.
Thank you. Please remain standing. The invocation will be delivered by Governor Paul Torres of Isleta Pueblo.
Good afternoon, everybody. Mayor Barry hunikuyon wiwai. Natarata kurhim ay hunikuy tawini dawai ay hunikuyon. Kim kawai na itatung kama takwin pawa. Yuda mawadi na piyeshia. Na bakacha na pai. Na pinain hunikuy. Una wita migo una taipa chame. Pida wa ida awani nai. Wa huwa hi wa chaiba hi anuya chacha. Vaya dem da hunikuyon yuda ma. Ma chumin hunikuy ma chadhi hunikuyon. Taida yun Albuquerque ad hunikuyin na tlo inawak hunikuy yuchachi himai chamina hunikuy kim kaawin ba yedim dat hunikuy wadi na pieshia na bakacha hinawiacha yuna taipacha kim kaawin im kawin kim kaawin naita tung kammi hunikuy yoda ma inapuyam himai banahumi inawa hunikuy awan paida bi miria bi bautama paida hunikuy inwewa inqawa yatida tikumi. To translate some of what I have said, I have asked the Great Spirit, our Creator, to continue to give Mayor Barry and the City Council the strength, wisdom, and patience as they take on the new term with their leadership for the City of Albuquerque. I also ask for the Great Spirit to bless Mayor Barry and his family and all of the good people of the City of Albuquerque. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Please be seated. Real quick, I'd like to just recognize a few honored guests. We have 3 city councilors that are not on stage. Councilor Ray Garduno, District 6. Please stand up, Councilor. Thank you, Trudy Jones, District 8. Thank you. And I'd also like all the employees of the City of Albuquerque who work so hard to make the city a great city, please stand up and be recognized. Now, before we get the swearing-in ceremony started, I'd like to introduce the National Institute of Flamenco. They're in the back, and they're going to do a quick number for us.
We're from the National Institute of Flamenco. Congratulations, our wonderful civil servants.
Thank you all. Thank you all very much. Now I'd like to introduce our honorable judges that are here this evening. The Honorable Stan Whitaker, he's from the 2nd Judicial District Court. The Honorable Ted Baca, 2nd Judicial District Court. The Honorable Neil Candelaria, retired Pro-Tem. And the Honorable Henry Alaniz, Bernalillo County Metropolitan Court. So at this time, we're going to begin the swearing-in ceremony. I'd like to bring up City Clerk Ann Bailey. She is the City Clerk who will attest to the signing of the official city oath of office. And we're going to start with Mayor Barry. Mayor Barry was elected to a 2nd term as Mayor of Albuquerque. He is accompanied by his wife Maria, son Jacob, his parents Willis and Karen Barry, and his father and mother-in-law Ed and Carlotta Medina. If you all join him up at the front. Mayor Barry will be sworn in by the Honorable Stan Whitaker, New Mexico 2nd Judicial District Court.
J. Barry,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution
to uphold the Constitution
and the laws
and the laws
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
and the laws
and the laws
of the State of New Mexico.
of the State of New Mexico.
I furthermore do solemnly swear
I furthermore do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and sincerely
and sincerely
perform my duties as a public servant
as a public servant
of the people
of the people
of the City of Albuquerque, New Mexico,
of the City of Albuquerque, New Mexico,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Judge Whitaker, thank you so much. Good friend and great public servant yourself, and I really appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. What a beautiful New Mexico day. It's just been a few days since we celebrated Thanksgiving with our families and our friends and those that we love. And today, I'm particularly thankful as your mayor to give the second opportunity to serve this great city. There's so many things, I think, for all of us to be thankful for, and I'm just grateful and humbled by the fact that the good folks of Albuquerque would give me another 4 years for what for me would be a second and final term to be the mayor of this great American city. And we've had some wonderful times over the last 4 years. I remember 4 years ago, we stood here and we talked about some challenges that we would face. We talked about working with the city councilors. We talked about engaging with our community. We talked about all of the things that we could accomplish as a city, even though we may have some difficult times. And we certainly did have some difficult times, and I'd like to thank each and every one of the city councilors who have worked with me as a mayor to do the things that we need to do to make sure that our city was moving forward. We solved a $160 million worth of budget shortfalls. We did that without laying off any one of our 6,000 valuable employees. We kept services to the city whole. We didn't have to raise taxes. And the good employees of the city of Albuquerque went out and they did a wonderful job lowering crime rates to the lowest rates in 20 years. We did a wonderful job of bolstering our community each and every day and doing the things that we were elected to do. But none of us could do this by ourselves. And I want to thank today my beautiful wife, Maria, my son, Jacob, who I'm so very proud of, my mom and dad, Willis and Karen Barry, that are with us today, and my in-laws, Ed and Carlotta Medina. You know, you don't get a chance to do this if you don't do it as a family. And we certainly have done that. And we look at Albuquerque as our family as well. And this is really a situation when you get to be a mayor of a large city, and we are a large city. We're the 30th largest city in the country at this point, where you really have to rely on a lot of people. This is not a job that you can do by yourself, and we have never looked at it that way. And so a special thank you goes out, and one of the things that I'm thankful for certainly is the fact that we've had a community that cares so deeply about each other, and a community that will go out of their way to help their friends and their neighbors and those who need a helping hand. And I'm thankful for our diversity. I'm thankful when I walked in today that I had a beautiful lady come up and do a Zuni prayer with me, and that we would have the fact that we would have Governor Torres here to do a prayer from his Letta, and the fact that I could attend Mass this morning with my family, and the fact that we could go out this afternoon to the menorah lighting with Rabbi Schmuckler and his congregation as well. And the fact that we embrace that, we embrace cultural diversity, and we've woven this beautiful fabric as a community over the centuries. And we're a city with an ancient and wonderful soul, but we're also a city with a very, very, very bright future. And I think that's really what I want to talk about just a little bit today, is that future and how we're going to get there. And one of the things that strikes me each and every day as a mayor is the fact that our potential as a city, our limitations as a city are really only limited by our ambitions. We have so many things in Albuquerque, New Mexico to be thankful for, and that we're blessed with. The great community, great neighborhoods. And as I talk to folks around the country and I talk about Albuquerque and how wonderful it is, we talk about great neighborhoods and we talk about great people, and we have both of those in abundance. And we talk about our can-do attitude in the city. We talk about the way that we go out and we reach out, and that we work with our educational institutions, and we work with local businesses, and we work with our faith community and all those who make such a big difference in our city. And we have some great partners. And I know that we have a lot of friends that have come to join us today, along with the 6 councilors that will be sworn in with me this afternoon. And as we look forward to the next 4 years, I think there's a common theme, and that is this. And I talked about this at the State of the City a few weeks ago. We want to make sure that we're investing in our people, and we want to make sure that we're continuing to invest in our place. We're certainly a beautiful city. We've got clean air. We've got the Sandias. We've got the Rio Grande, the Bosque. We want to make sure that we continue to invest in our built environment. We want to make sure that the bike paths and the critical infrastructure and the things that we count on each day from a quality of life standpoint and from an economic development standpoint continue to move forward. But we also want to make sure that we're investing in people, and there are so many folks in our community right now that are working on investing in our people. Many of you are familiar with our Hitting Home initiative, where we have over 300 of our most vulnerable citizens now who will have a roof over their head tonight rather than living on the streets of Albuquerque. That's a national leading model, and that wouldn't have happened without the big heart of Albuquerque, New Mexico. We've got leaders talking about adding 60,000 college degrees in our community between now and the year 2020. That's not going to happen by itself. That's going to happen with your help, with the help of businesses, with the help of families, with the help of institutions around the city of Albuquerque. We talk about being the most entrepreneurial city in America. We want to make sure over the next 4 years that we're reaching out and letting folks know in our community it's okay to take a chance. It's okay to be entrepreneurial. If you have a job and that job is wonderful for you, that's fantastic. If you want to start your own business, if you want to be an entrepreneur and create jobs and be a job creator yourself, we want to make sure that we help you do that. We've got just across the street, one of the great projects that we're starting to work on with Bob Frank and the University of New Mexico is Innovate ABQ, which is going to be a place to take the research that happens in Albuquerque, New Mexico, commercialize that, and take it to the marketplace so that we can help those in our community raise their boats. And we talk about Talent ABQ, one of our initiatives where anybody now can walk up into 26 of our skill-up centers, test their skill sets as a citizen, ask themselves where they need to improve, make those improvements, and then connect those with the job creators in our community to make sure that we're all working together so that Albuquerque is seen around the country as having one of the most viable workforces in the nation. And I can tell you from our experience with Maria and myself and our family business, we do have one of the most viable workforces in the country, and we just need to go out there and we need to tell that story. We're going to continue to make smart public sector investments that drive private sector investments. And to do that, as I said earlier, you don't do it as one man or one woman. You do that as a city that's united. You do that with a city council that really cares. And over the last 4 years, as I said earlier, we've done some wonderful things in the city of Albuquerque. And I'm very, very anxious to get to work tomorrow to start moving our city forward into the future. And I call upon our city council to do what we've done over the last 4 years, and that is think of ourselves as a city. We've got 9 city council districts, and each of our city councilors will do a wonderful job representing their districts, and I know you'll get a chance to hear from them today as well. And each one of them is going to be looking at one of their 9 districts. But we also want to back up a little bit and look at our city as a whole, because as we start moving forward as a city, it takes all of us rowing that boat together. So for all the supporters that are here today, everyone that has been with me from the beginning, as I started my journey as a public servant, I want to say thank you. We just would not be here without you today. Certainly I want to thank my family. And I want to have a call to action as I leave the stage today, and that is this. Think of something that you can do. Think of someone that you know. Think of one of these initiatives that we're working on as a city. 60,000 more college degrees. Each and every one of you knows someone out there that could use a little encouragement to go out there and finish their education. Get them through high school, get them on to college. Any one of you that knows someone that wants to be an entrepreneur, extend a hand to them. Let them know that it's okay to do that. Let them know that it's good to aspire. And I want you to go out today, after today, and I want you to inspire your neighborhood. I want you to be inspiring at your kitchen table. I want you to talk to your friends and your family around the city of Albuquerque and let them know that the only limit on us is the limit of our ambitions. We're going to have a great 4 years. I really look forward to it. I thank you for this opportunity. Have a great day, and God bless.
Thank you, Mayor Barry. I'd like to invite Councilor Ken Sanchez and his guests up at this time. Councilor Sanchez was elected to a 3rd term in District 1. He is accompanied by Cynthia Martinez, his mother, Frances Sanchez, Jacqueline, Joaquin, Natalie, and Kenneth Zamora, sister Linda, husband John, and brother Gilbert, and wife Amori. Councilor Sanchez will be sworn in by the Honorable Ted Baca, New Mexico 2nd Judicial District Court.
Counselor, please raise your right hand. Place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. I, Ken Sanchez,
I, Ken Sanchez,
do solemnly swear
to
uphold the Constitution
uphold the Constitution
and the laws
and the laws
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
and the laws
of
the State of New Mexico.
the State of New Mexico.
I furthermore do solemnly swear
I furthermore do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
and sincerely perform my duties as a public servant of the people of the City of Albuquerque, New Mexico, to the best of my ability, so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Chief Court Judge Ted Baca, for being here. I've been a friend of Judge Baca for many, many years. Mayor Barry, First Lady Marie Barry, Council President Dan Lewis, honorable judges, council members, and most importantly, our honored and distinguished guests that are here today. Thank you for coming out and being part of this very important historical day in our lives. At this time, before I say any more, I would like the veterans, both past and present, to please stand and be recognized. It is because of your bravery and your courage and your love for this country that we stand here celebrating democracy today. Veterans, please stand. Thank you for your service to this great nation. Let me begin by saying, on January 1st of 1995, I took the oath of office for the very first time and was elected to the Bernalillo County Commission. That was a day in my life that I will never forget, and I was so proud of. Today, I am equally as proud as I take the oath of office for the 5th time. I never thought that I would call myself a career politician, but after 16 years of service, I guess I can probably say that I am a career politician. But today, I am humbled and equally as proud. I promise to each and every one of the people that have represented me, that have entrusted me to this position, that I will work hard to provide strong, thoughtful leadership to our district, and as Mayor Berry has said, also to the city of Albuquerque. We don't serve as individual members of the council. We serve as 9 members of the council representing an entire city. At this time, I would also like to say that this time around and the last time I had no opposition. So the last 2 terms I ran unopposed. But we still have to go out and we have to get public financing if we're publicly financed candidates, and we have to get the petitions. And as I told you the last time when I was standing here, there was a Mr. Chavez who was 88 years old. When I went in and asked for his signature, he gave me the signature, and after that, he said, I don't have a check on me, or I don't have dollar bills on me. He went to his piggy bank and gave me $5 in quarters. This time around, when I was out campaigning, I went to a home, got invited into the home, and I asked for the signature, got that, and then I asked if I could receive a $5 contribution for the city of Albuquerque. He went to his wallet, and I was there in the kitchen with him, and he didn't have any money in his wallet. So he turned to his 7-year-old son and said, son, can I borrow $5 from you? And I said, no, that's okay. He said, no, Ken, we want to help your campaign. His son went to the room and walked back with 5 $1 bills. Those are the people that I am truly honored and proud to be serving and representing. I also want to thank my campaign coordinator and my campaign treasurer who are here today that do this work voluntarily each and every time. Vivian and Gary Widener, thank you very much for all of your work. Also, we've got Herb Baumgart here today. I also want to thank Arthur and Kathy Dow, and especially I want to thank my family. I want to thank Cynthia for all of her work. You know, each and every night when I get home, we're home late because we're at community meetings, we're at council meetings, but they're always there to open the door and to welcome us back home. I want to thank my daughter, Jacqueline, and my 2 grandchildren, Kenneth and Natalie, who are here today. I also am very proud to say that my granddaughter, Natalie, plays basketball for St. Pius, and I found a love equal to politics, and that's going to watch the St. Pius girls basketball team. I want to thank Ashley. I want to thank my brother Gilbert, his wife Moraima, and their son John Michael. 4 years ago, Gilbert, my nephew, sang the national anthem as we took the oath of office. I want to thank my son-in-law Joaquin, my sister Linda, her husband John, and their 2 children. And they're not here today. They couldn't make it. Tamara and John Michael. You know, you've got to have family that are supporting you, because if not, it would never be the same. I also want to say thank you to the previous councilors that served in Council District 1. There's only been 4 city councilors that have served in that district over the past 40 years. That was Pat Baca, Ellen Armijo, who was here today. Thank you, Ellen. Also Miguel Gomez, and I've served the last 8. They set the foundation and laid the groundwork for Council District 1. And Ellen, if you're here, please stand and be acknowledged and recognized for all of your work. Thank you very much. I come before you for a 3rd term at a moment in our city rich with promise, hope, and prosperity. We as a city must engage in high moral principles. As a city and as a community that cares, we must be ready to help the most vulnerable of our community. We have a homeless population lost and roaming the streets of Albuquerque. I want to say thank you to Mayor Berry and his staff for heading home, for making a difference for the homeless population in this community. Mayor, thank you very much. We also have children in our city that go home each and every night hungry. For many of those children, the only meal that they have is the lunch meal at school. And during the summer months, the only meal a lot of these children have is going to the community centers. There was a recent study that came out that said New Mexico children are the hungriest in America. That is unacceptable for Albuquerque, and that is unacceptable for New Mexico. Today, across this country, we are challenged with probably the worst recession since the Great Depression. And for myself, serving in public office these past 4 years, that has by far been the most difficult. We have a tax and accounting practice, and in that practice, each and every day, we saw people coming in with 1099-G forms, which is unemployment statements. We cannot deal and tolerate that in our city. We must put people back to work. That is the number one issue I think that we face here in Albuquerque, is putting people back to work in our community. Also, I believe public safety is a must priority for the city of Albuquerque. The city council and the mayor, we've allocated enough money for 1,100 police officers in our city. Right now, we have less than 900 officers. We must get that number up to 1,100 officers to make our city safe and to keep our police department safe. On October 26th of this year, Christopher Chase took to the streets of Albuquerque with an AK-47 rifle, a stolen police car, and a tattoo on his arm that said "Cop Killer." On that day, Albuquerque police officers Matthew Hannum, Eric Martinez, and Daniel Morales were shot. Also shot was Bernalillo County Sheriff Officer Robin Hopkins. Fortunately, on that day, all four survived. This situation in our city could have been much worse, but the bravery and the courage that our police officers showed truly exemplifies who the Albuquerque Police Department is. They care and they love our city, and they will keep our community safe. And I also have not introduced my mom, and I wanted to say that today is my mom's birthday. So Mom, happy birthday. And I am very optimistic about the future of our city. We will be breaking ground on Albuquerque's west side next week for a brand new public $10 million library. How we educate and how we innovate and how we bring a community to prosperity is through literacy and through education. And I want to thank Mayor Berry and I want to thank the council for working with me to get the funds necessary to open up that new library. I will also say that one person I want to acknowledge and recognize today that has been with me for 7 years now, she is my policy analyst, and that is Elaine Romero. I want to thank Elaine for all of her hard work. 2 years ago, she landed up in the hospital with a heart attack, not because of her boss. And Mayor Berry went to that hospital to visit her at Presbyterian. And I know when he went to visit her, he wanted to see how she was doing. But she was still talking about office work. I had to basically turn off my phone and not take her calls because she was calling me wanting to take care of the community's business. But Elaine is doing very well, and she will be with me, hopefully, for the next 4 years. Let me just close by saying we are blessed to live in such a great city as Albuquerque. I've been blessed to serve this community now for 16 years, and I look forward to serving you for the next 4 years. May God bless each and every one of you, and may God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Sanchez. I'd like to invite Councilor Isaac Benton up. Councilor Benton will begin his third term as City Councilor. His first 2 terms were in Districts 3, and this will be his first term as Councilor in District 2. Councilor Benton is accompanied by his wife, Elaine Foss. The Honorable Ted Baca, New Mexico 2nd Judicial Court, will swear in Councilor Benton.
Please raise your right hand. I, Isaac Benton,
I, Isaac Benton,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution
to uphold the Constitution
and the laws
and the laws
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
and the laws
of
the State of New Mexico.
the State of New Mexico.
I furthermore
I furthermore
do solemnly swear
swear
that I will faithfully,
faithfully,
impartially,
and sincerely
perform my duties
as
as a public servant
of
of the people of the City of Albuquerque, New Mexico, to the best of my ability.
to the best of my
So
ability.
help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Judge. Thanks, Judge, for doing the honors today. I think you're carrying a lot of the load this afternoon, and I appreciate it. First, I want to extend my hearty congratulations to Mayor Berry and the Councilors Lewis, Sanchez, Peña, Gibson, and Harris on their elections, and I look forward to cooperative and productive relationships going forward. Second, I want to thank my dear wife, Elaine, who's been so supportive of me during my 8 years on the council, and particularly during the last electoral campaign, which was a heck of a lot of work. And I want to thank the scores of volunteers who showed their faith in me with their hours of hard work during the election, and our great campaign staff that worked on the campaign. And then last, I too want to recognize my policy analyst, Diane Dolan. We've got a big, tough district, and Diane's up to the task, although sometimes I wonder whether she could use a few more breaks. But also the city council staff. We have a wonderful city council staff, and it's just been a joy to work with them over the years. We all want to feel positive today about Albuquerque as we look ahead. And I have a lot of pride in our city and also in my district where I've lived for the last 37 years. And I have a lot of confidence in our city, that we have what it takes to thrive and move forward. And on a day like today, I try to remind myself, I remember the old Animals song, Don't Bring Me Down. I don't know how many people remember the Animals, but they had a tune with a very heavy buzz tone bass on it. Mayor would probably appreciate that one. It was called Don't Bring Me Down. And I don't want to bring anybody down, but I do have a few concerns about where we're heading as we look ahead. And I'd like to just mention those and give a few brief thoughts about what I think we can do about them. They do affect the entire city. It might sound like that they're insular to the center city, but they're not. I think they're very applicable to any part of Albuquerque. And I do appreciate the thoughts of Mayor Berry and Councilor Sanchez and the optimism, and I do share that. But we do see in the news very often, we have that with much of the country doing well and on its way to economic recovery, Albuquerque sometimes in some categories seems to actually be falling behind. And even though we have such a unique history and geography, modern Albuquerque, in my humble opinion, seems increasingly generic. I hate to see that because we've got so much going for us with our culture and our unique identities of our great historic neighborhoods, whether urban or rural or suburban. We got some wonderful neighborhoods in our city, and our city center too. Downtown really belongs to us all, and no city that's doing well does not have a vibrant downtown these days. So we've heard a lot about the phenomenon of the baby boomers, and many of us probably here, including myself, part of that category, and then also the echo boomers, and those are the two largest demographic groups in our country today. And a large percentage of those two groups, empty nesters and then young entrepreneurial people, creative class type people, don't really wish to be dependent on driving to meet their needs. They really want to live in vital neighborhoods where they can have their needs met with walkable, bikeable, lively commercial areas that are well served by public transit. And I think Albuquerque's missing out somewhat on those two markets. We are failing to attract enterprising young people, and we're even losing our own grown children, and one of my children is one of them, to other cities that provide those qualities. We lose 3/4 of our UNM medical school graduates to other states. That's a pretty astounding statistic. Younger, creative, cutting-edge entrepreneurs seek vibrant and forward-looking cities that protect their natural environment and sense of place. I believe that we need water conservation, better land use planning, and traditional construction adapted to our locale. We need the cooling value of an urban tree canopy. We've lost more of our urban tree canopy than any city in the country, with the exception of Houston and New Orleans, and you know why they lost theirs, from tropical storms. So a native landscape is really important to a sense of place, and I think to a quality of life. Innovative entrepreneurs and locally owned businesses comprise the backbone of a local economy. They thrive in cities that offer a superior quality of life and neighborhood amenities. Look at our peer cities: Austin, Tucson, Chattanooga, Portland. I never thought I'd say this, even El Paso. These cities are attracting young people. They're investing in their historic commercial centers and their downtowns, the areas that give them their identity and their unique qualities. They're also investing in public transit, public spaces, and their streets. I believe the guaranteed best way to rebuild Albuquerque's economy is locally, with neighborhood-based urban redevelopment in both the public and private sectors. Such efforts of redevelopment should be informed by our traditional New Mexico models, such as Old Town. Those forums that were made for walking and that reflect our culture. And the redevelopment should be appropriate to our individual residential neighborhoods. In the short term, the city role can be to help spur private investment when we invest in basic infrastructure, as the mayor has said, modernize multi-purpose and multimodal streets, parks, storm drainage, public spaces, and basic services. Let's not forget those. Public investment in housing, using our Workforce Housing Trust Fund, has and can in the future continue to leverage tens of millions of dollars in outside investments and gross receipts tax revenue to the city. Great urban places encourage tourist and convention trade. They attract outside investment, as well as creating much-needed construction jobs. I want to talk a little bit about downtown. I mentioned how important downtown is to any thriving city in modern America and in the world. And one of the most pressing issues for both my district, but the city as a whole, is public safety and public visitor perception of crime and unsafe conditions downtown. This is so important downtown, where the bar scene and rowdy atmosphere on the street at night sometimes drives away not only our own residents but tourists. We recently lost a major national convention after stories circulated about Albuquerque's downtown on the blogosphere. We need to study the best practices in the so-called entertainment zones of other cities that are dealing with similar problems, and I know Denver, for one, is dealing with some of the same issues, and increase the deployment of police officers to bicycle and foot patrols dedicated to downtown. We do have those during the day, but we don't have them 24/7. We can use our nuisance abatement ordinance to insist on more responsibility from the bar owners and business owners for street cleanliness and behavior in front of their businesses. And I think APD also needs to target and enforce our motorcycle noise regulations, particularly downtown. But that was something that was some legislation that started out just aimed at downtown. Lo and behold, every other councilor wanted to just make it citywide because it's a problem we all face and that affects our quality of life. My hat's off to the mayor for the Albuquerque Heading Home initiative and those who helped the mayor on that initiative. He housed approximately 250 to 300 people. I'm told that the demand is probably, the remaining demand is about double that. So roughly 500 additional people on the streets that could use the services of the program. And I'm told that the tab on that is probably going to be $4.5 to $5 million. I really think that would be money well spent because the homeless environment downtown is another part of the kind of intimidating atmosphere for some people. And so I would really support that. I also, we've been in contact with the homeless providers in the community, and there are many things that we could be doing if we could just get a little bit more coordination amongst them, and I think the city can really play a part in facilitating that coordination. Anyway, on the uptone, I believe we can accomplish all these things. I think we can be just as good as any of those cities I mentioned. And we've got so much going for us. We're a wonderful place. I mean, you're all here because you know it. It's hard to beat Albuquerque. But I do think these are some areas where we really need to pull together and work together. I stand ready to do that, and I hope you'll join me and the mayor and the rest of the council in trying to do so. So thanks for your listening, and have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Councilor Benton. I'd now like to invite Klarissa J. Peña and her guests up front. Klarissa Peña was newly elected as City Councilor for District 3. She is accompanied by her husband, Johnny Peña, her mother, Mary Jean Montoya, and her family, Charisse, Adrian, Noah, Diego, Zoe, Ruby, Tiffany, Gabriel, Gabriel Jr., Liliella, Sean, Jonice, Johnny, Amadeo, Renee, Angelo, Annalisa, and her brother, Sammy Montoya. Welcome. Judge Ted Baca, New Mexico 2nd Judicial District Court, will be swearing in Councilor Peña.
I, Klarissa J. Peña,
I, Klarissa J. Peña,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution
to uphold the Constitution
and the laws
and the laws
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
and the laws
and the laws
of the State of New Mexico.
of the State of New Mexico.
I furthermore
I furthermore
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and sincerely
and sincerely
perform my duties
perform my duties
as a public servant
as a public servant
of the people
of the people
of the City of Albuquerque,
of the City of Albuquerque,
New Mexico,
New Mexico,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Judge.
Good luck.
Good afternoon. I just want to thank Sandy. You know, I asked her how many people usually go on stage when she said your family goes on stage, and she said just your immediate family. I was like, well, that's 22. So, So thank you again. Good afternoon. And I was told to keep this speech to 1 to 2 minutes, so this is probably going to be the shortest speech of the afternoon. So first of all, I want to thank God, my mom, my family, my beautiful grandchildren that you've seen up here this afternoon, my husband, Johnny, supporters, and the campaign team for their outstanding support. I could not have done this without you guys. I especially want to thank the people who put their confidence in me. I want you to know that I intend to work hard. I will continue to honor the community work that so many people like Jeanette Baca, Joe and Pat Risbick, Cecilia Romero, just to name a few, who have dedicated years of service volunteering in our neighborhoods to make a difference in our community. I will push for much needed services for the area. I will continue the strong partnerships we developed as part of the community work with local agencies, public safety, CBOs, community-based organizations, and elected officials to address the needs of the residents. You know, it's kind of ironic being up here today for me, because at the age of 9, I was diagnosed with kidney disease. And when I turned 13, my mother and I were told that by the time I turned 24, I would either be dead or on dialysis. But God had a different plan for me. I would be blessed with a beautiful family and loving husband who tells everyone he has a free pass to heaven because he's married to me. A job that complements and has helped enhance my community work. And now this, elected to the newly created District 3. People ask why the number 13 is my lucky number. I guess now you know why. I feel honored and privileged to have this opportunity to serve the city of Albuquerque and the residents of District 3. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Peña. I'd like to now invite Councilor Dan Lewis and his guests up. Councilor Dan Lewis will begin his second term as City Councilor for District 5. He is accompanied by his wife Tracy, his son Jensen, and daughter Madison. Also with him are his parents Paul and Ann Lewis, brothers State Representative Tim Lewis, and Chief Warrant Officer Tony Lewis. Councilor Lewis will be sworn into office by Judge Neil Candelaria.
If you'd raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I, Dan Lewis, do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, and the Constitution and the laws of the State of New Mexico. I furthermore do solemnly swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and sincerely perform my duties as a public servant of the people of the city of Albuquerque, New Mexico, to the best of my ability, so help me God. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much to the Honorable Judge Candelaria. My gratitude. He's served the state of New Mexico for many years and is recently retired, lives in District 5, and we're very proud of Judge Candelaria. To Mayor Berry, thank you very much. It's great to serve with a great mayor and also my fellow councilors on the stage and in the audience here this morning. We really are good friends, despite what some might think or what the media might say. Sometimes we don't always agree on everything, but we are good friends. We certainly care for each other's families, and it's an honor to work together with them. And I do want to acknowledge some very special people that are here with me today. My wife Tracy, we just celebrated 22 years of being married, and I'm very thankful for her. She's the love of my life. If there were a free ticket to heaven, then I think I'd have it by being married to her. But very grateful for Tracy and my two children, Madison and Jensen, who both attend Cibola High School. To my parents, Paul and Ann Lewis, who are here with us also today. They raised 4 boys. My oldest brother, State Representative Tim Lewis, who's here with us and serves the State House. My brother Dave Lewis, who's not here with us, he's in Phoenix, and his family lives in Phoenix there. And also my brother Tony Lewis, who's a Chief Warrant Officer in the Arizona Army Guard. Very grateful for them. And also want to acknowledge my policy analyst, Assistant Sarah Mancini. I'm going to ask Sarah to stand up. Sarah's the I'm going to make you stand up. So Sarah's the superstar in District 5. There you go. As I said, my parents raised 4 boys, and we put them through some grief, some pain, at times growing up. And I think typical kids and teenagers, I remember times when we're, selfish and times of arguing and times just of, typically of, kids growing up. And I remember my father say very vividly, my father would say to me, Dan, if you serve yourself and if you think about yourself, you're going to live a miserable life. And he said, he said, you need to serve somebody. You need to go and make somebody else's life better. And God put you here to be different and to make a difference, to be a blessing. And those words have guided me, whether it be starting a church 16 years ago. Tracy and I have led that church the last 16 years, and full of just servant-hearted people who serve the city of Rio Rancho and the west side of Albuquerque. My longtime friend, Floyd Silva, who's the pastor there now, and he's here with us today also. I'm very thankful for him. We started several companies in Albuquerque that continue to thrive, products and that are serving people and meeting people's needs. Those 2 companies, and I now help lead a great local company called Desert Fuels, who was started by a friend of mine named J.J. Mancini, who set out to change the industry and to put others first and to be a blessing and to be different as a company. I ran for public office, and we all have a desire to give our families a better quality of life. And then we think about our neighbors and we think about our city, and we want to do what we can to serve them. I think about sometimes when a public official makes mistakes or the downfalls, and usually the beginning of that end is when a public official begins to think of themselves a little bit more important as they really are. This job is really about waking up in the morning and answering phone calls and helping people and serving people. We talk about campaigns, and city council campaigns can be grueling, but most of what we do is we knock on doors and we visit with people and we listen and we remember how to serve them. Some of the driving values, I set out to serve this community with some driving values of putting others first and authentically serving our 6,000 city employees, our constituents that we represent, the businesses, the economic drivers, the job creators, and also to serve and put first the marginalized in our society, the people that need help the most, with the value of humility, knowing that I don't know everything, but I want to learn from everyone, with the value of choosing a good perspective to see the good in every person, in every situation, with high expectations to fight for the highest possible good in every single person, to be solution-oriented, to solve problems together, knowing that we can't do this alone. The value of excellence, that we're continually improving in everything we do and learning. The value of intentional mentorship, meaning that we learn, and as we learn, we teach others as we go. And then the value of trust, which I think is so important as an elected official, and it happens when you over-communicate, and it happens with ridiculous follow-through. And I'm proud of our office and Sarah and others that have helped, ensure that we have a reputation of being available and accessible to people that are in need in our community. In the past 4 years, we've built critical roadways. We've built parks. We've built many other quality of life projects that have made just the city even better. We've created policies that help keep people safe and help businesses and the economy to grow and to create jobs. We handled a budget crisis with care and with common sense, and we put Albuquerque on the road, I believe, to an economic health and economic growth. We've built a lot of things, and the next fire station that'll be built in the city of Albuquerque will be built in District 5. The next library, the next multi-generational center that'll be built in the city of Albuquerque will be built on the west side, northwest communities in District 5. And I believe that the next 4 years that we will see thousands of new jobs come to Albuquerque. I believe that we'll have homegrown businesses that will thrive and do what they do best. And we need public servants. We need servant leaders in public office. The framers of the U.S. Constitution, the revolutionaries, those who wrote the Constitution. And when they thought of this idea of a government, by the people, for the people, and led by the people, and they wondered, if you read their writings, they wondered if this republic would really work. And they doubted at times whether it would work. But they said, and they wrote about, that if it were to work, that it would take, people of faith and people of integrity, people who believe in freedom and private property rights and the limited role of government. If those people would run for public office, then there's a chance that this republic will stand. I hope that our legacy here in Albuquerque would prove that, once again, that democracy works and that our city can be a shining example of good government, of limited government where the people thrive. And I know that's the desire of every person on the stage, and I'm proud to serve with these great public servants. And I want to thank you again. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your great support. And may God bless you, and may God bless our great city.
Thank you, Councilor Lewis. Now I'd like to invite Diane Gibson and her guests up. Diane G. Gibson will begin her first term as Councilor for District 7. She is accompanied by Anna Canales. Councilor Gibson will be sworn in by Judge Ted Baca, New Mexico 2nd Judicial District Court.
Please raise your right hand. I, Diane G. Gibson,
I, Diane G. Gibson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution
to uphold the Constitution
and the laws
and the laws
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
and the laws of the State of New Mexico.
of the State of New Mexico.
I furthermore
I furthermore
do solemnly swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and sincerely perform my duties as a public servant of the people of the city of Albuquerque, New Mexico, to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I am so very honored to be here. Good afternoon, and to Mayor Barry, your wonderful family, all the councilors here, distinguished guests. I'm just very pleased and honored to be here. I think I have Klarissa beat. My speech is much shorter. I do want to acknowledge all of the people who helped me get here. All of my great volunteers. I had a wonderful staff, and mostly of all are the people of District 7, who I had the very distinct pleasure of talking with and getting to meet. I'm so very proud and humbled at the same time that they have instilled in me their trust in this position, and I will never take that for granted. And I have promised them, and I'll promise you right now, to not only serve the district, but the city of Albuquerque, and to focus on the issues and the concerns that I heard over and over again as I was standing at people's doorsteps. They have told me that they want a strong economy, a robust economy, opportunities for their graduating children here in town. They've also told me that they want safe streets, mitigating effects on traffic patterns. We have some very dangerous intersections. They also want to feel safe and secure in their homes, in their places of business, in the neighborhoods. But you know, the one thing that came up far more than anything else in all of the months that I met with the people of District 7 was our education and the schools that we have in Albuquerque. We are passionate about our schools and about the education our children are receiving. And I have promised them, and I will repeat that today, I'll look for every opportunity to help our schools improve. So obviously, it seems very clear to me that we are a city of people who are eager to invest in our city. And I'm very proud to join the other councilors in working on the issues to help the city become even greater. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Diane. Look forward to it.
Thank you.
Look forward to working with you.
Thank you, Councilor Gibson. Our final city councilor to be sworn in will be Don Harris. So I invite Don and his family up. Don Harris will begin his third term as city councilor for District 9. He is accompanied by his wife Valerie and his son Joshua, and he has a son Kaylin and daughter Nora and Juliana and Melissa Barella that are also attending in the audience. Councilor Harris will be sworn in by Judge Henry Alaniz with Metropolitan Court.
All right, repeat after me. I, Don Harris,
I, Don Harris,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution
to uphold the Constitution
and the laws of the United States of America
and the laws of the United States of America
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
and the laws of the State of New Mexico.
and the laws of the State of New Mexico.
I furthermore do solemnly swear
I furthermore do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and sincerely
and sincerely
perform my duties as a public servant
perform my duties as a public servant
of the people of the City of Albuquerque, New Mexico,
of the people of the City of Albuquerque, New Mexico,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Judge Alaniz. Well, no one told me I had a time limit. However, I did write down everything I wanted to say, and I practiced it, and I had to cut a lot out because I put a self-imposed time limit of 5 minutes. So if you give me 5 minutes, I'll get you back to visiting with your friends and to eating some great food, and we can enjoy the rest of the afternoon together. It was almost 150 years ago to the day that Abraham Lincoln issued the very first Thanksgiving proclamation in 1863. And I think it's fitting to begin by quoting a portion of that proclamation. The year that is drawing towards its close has been filled with the blessings of fruitful fields and healthful skies. To these bounties, which are so constantly enjoyed that we are prone to forget the source from which they come, others have been added which are so extraordinary a nature that they cannot fail to penetrate and soften the heart which is habitually insensible to the ever-watchful providence of Almighty God. This swearing-in ceremony falls only 3 days after Thanksgiving, and the recent holiday has reminded us of the importance of gratitude. So I want to thank you, Mayor, the other councilors, judges, and honored guests, and I want to especially thank all of those who have come today to celebrate this new day in our city that we all call home and all want to improve. I want to thank my family, both the ones who could be here today and the ones who could not. Public service requires sacrifice from those in it, and it unfortunately imposes sacrifice on family members, especially children who may not have chosen, or in fact did not choose for the parent to be in public office. Especially want to thank my wife Valerie, who has renewed my spirit, my trust in myself, as well as my belief in public service as a greater good.
I've been supported and encouraged by many volunteers and people in this district, and they have thought well enough of me to bring me back for another term, and frankly, I'm humbled by their continued faith in me, and I will not let you down. City councilors have two roles. We are elected only by the people in our districts, but we are all responsible for the welfare of the entire city. So first, I'd like to talk a little bit about my district. My district is in the far southeast corner of the city, a roughly square section that goes from Eubank east to the mountains and Manal south to Kirtland Air Force Base. The area is incredibly diverse and there are many challenges. One of the main challenges is the redevelopment of East Central, which has been my goal for the last 8 years. I've been working at it very hard, and it has proven to be a very difficult lift. We have a new sector plan in place, and we've also completed a metropolitan redevelopment area and almost completed a metropolitan redevelopment plan. And we have assembled $3.8 million for the area thanks to the generosity of the voters of the city during the several bond elections. I believe we are at a point, an inflection point, and we are going to see truly some improvements over the next 4 years. A lesser-known challenge and opportunity is the Tejeras Arroyo, which flows through the district, and it drains almost 80 square miles of the Sandy and Manzano Mountains and returns a significant amount of water back to our aquifer. It is a significant asset and should be part of the city's open space. We have made great progress, but there is much to be done. Mostly as a city councilor, I try to help people with the basic needs that people have in a city, those being public safety and quality of life. Those needs include police protection, fire and emergency medical protection, roads, parks, public transit, community centers, and many other public places. The needs are shared by everyone in the city of Albuquerque, and that leads me to the role of a councilor, which is looking out with other councilors for the welfare of the entire city. We have some change in the city of Albuquerque, and change brings opportunities as well as threats. And there is an unfortunate trend, luckily not so much in the city of Albuquerque, where elected officials sometimes draw lines and refuse to budge, seemingly wanting and waiting until their side can either gain a few more members or that they can humiliate the opponents in the court of public opinion so that the opposition just merely surrenders. Compromise, on the other hand, is sometimes viewed as weakness, capitulation, submission. When too many people in government see it that way, the public suffers. I raise this as we, after today, have a city council and mayor which are closely divided. And I think we have to make sure that we don't go down the path that other governments have, especially on a national level, of division and gridlock. Theodore Roosevelt captured, I think, the paradox of compromise, its potential dangers, and its necessity for accomplishing benefits for the public when he said the following: compromise, in the proper sense, merely means agreement. In the proper sense, opportunism should merely mean doing the best possible with actual conditions as they exist. A compromise which results in a half step toward evil is all wrong, just as the opportunist who saves himself for the moment by adopting a policy which is fraught with future disaster is all wrong. But no less wrong is the attitude of some who will not come to an agreement through which, or will not follow the course by which, it is alone possible to accomplish practical results for good. We all have the opportunity and even the duty to do the right thing and expect great results to follow. I have been blessed with a chance for a new beginning, and so is our city. And I anticipate great things over the next 4 years. As Ronald Reagan once said, live simply, love generously, care deeply, speak kindly, leave the rest to God. Valerie and I intend to do our part, and I truly believe that the mayor and other councilors will do the same. And God will continue to bless the city of Albuquerque. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Harris. Well, that concludes our swearing-in ceremony, but I'd like to say a few thank yous. I want to thank all the judges for their participation in this ceremony. We couldn't have done it without them. Thank you to all the volunteers that shared their talent and services. I want to thank Governor Paul Torres de Saleta Pueblo for being here, our performers, Mariachi San Jose, and the National Institute of Flamenco. I'd like to thank Albuquerque High School, JROTC, Cadet Sergeant Paul Lovato, Jacob Berry. And I'd also like to thank John Zamani, he's the Director of Council Services and Assistant, especially Sandra Chavez for organizing this whole event. Thank you to Mark Chavez for his assistance, and a very special thank you to Marcel Lucero of Convention Services for really setting this room up. It looks great. I invite you to enjoy a closing dance by the National Institute of Flamenco, and then please, thank you all very much for coming. Please stay and have a reception of us and celebrate this event. Thank you very much for being here.